Most people are still sound asleep in their cabins when the Sky Princess approaches Belize. Few realize how difficult of a channel it is to actually get near Belize, and you still end up being anchored almost 2 miles from the city itself. After a great breakfast on the ship, we all boarded the tender that would take us the 2 miles to Belize City. Everybody's on board and ready to go. After arriving and get off the tender, it was time to check out all the amenities at the Belize port. Lots of souvenir shops, duty-free items, clothing, all the things that you usually find at a tourist area. After a quick check of the area, it was time to go take a group photo at the Belize Letters with a local pirate. Belize was known as British Honduras until 1973. It was the last British colony on the American mainland. In 1964, it was granted its own government. In 1973, the name was changed from British Honduras to Belize. And in 1981, it gained its own independence with its own government. Everyone from the Cruising into 70 group took some time to look around, go in and out of some of the shops, check out the flea market, and drink some coconut water, and then even find a nice place to go swimming. Bella checks out a cool sea turtle carving, and then the girls found a neat ship for some photo ops. Next, we found a great big chair that was a fun place to take some group pictures. The bright color walkway made for a great place to take some photos. Jim and Trevor disappeared after this photo, and they were soon followed by Christy, Betsy, and the girls to go back to the ship. Diane, Tom, and Dave decided to venture out beyond the armed, guarded gates to go with a tour with this guy. Belize City is divided by Haulover Creek, two very distinct parts of the city. On the Caribbean side is the rich and wealthy, and on the other side are the poor. Our tour with Floyd took us on the east side first.
So like I mentioned, Mexico is a neighbor to the north and Guatemala is a neighbor to the south and the west. Only the east has the Caribbean Sea, so you're not on the island where mainland Belize.
We passed the park. See the airplane? Charles Lindbergh landed here in December of 1927 after almost hitting power lines. Tourism is now the #1 industry in Belize, having overtaken agriculture. Manual labor in Belize brings between $25 and $125 a week, US dollars. Past Marion Jones Stadium and Park. She was later stripped of her Olympic gold medals for doping. St. John's College is part of the West Indies University. Education has become a priority in Belize as people try to escape poverty. Here we see a high school. Students walking by with their uniforms. Every school has its own uniform. Here we see another elementary school with no air-conditioned classrooms. Here we see a Seventh-day Adventist high school. 10% of the people in Belize are Seventh-day Adventists. The red pointed roof ahead is the home of the former Prime Minister of Belize. It only has one guardhouse and one security gate because Floyd says we don't kill our leaders down here.
It's only the property that you worry about. Alright guys, I'm going to make this U-turn right here, but if you keep on going that way to the right, that's going to Mexico. I told you we're neighbor with Mexico, right?
Yes.
Mexico is located 96 miles that way behind us, 96 miles due.
Here we are crossing the Belchina Bridge over into the poor side of town. Didn't take long for us to notice the difference of standard of living on this side of the bridge. Many of the people on this side that live in these homes make less than $125 a week. The next thing is we come upon a cemetery converted into a playground. Many of the people that are buried in the walls of this crypt died of a yellow fever epidemic. Here we see an interesting construction technique.
Now this cemetery has only slave masters inside. On this green board, if you look at the back, you see some white section with his name written on it. You see the names?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the name of every slave master that is within this cemetery alone. If you and I were slaves, you were not allowed to be buried next to your master, not even in death. Is that crazy or what?
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is.
Here we see a church built totally out of ballast stones from slave ships that came to the British Honduras area. This home is one of the oldest structures in Belize City. Next, we come upon some old government buildings when Belize was still part of British Honduras, which was a colony of Great Britain. Across the street was an old church. Here we see the house that was the house of the governor when it was still British Honduras. Next, we cross the infamous swing bridge that separates one side of the city from the other, basically the poor side from the rich side. The canal was dug by slaves. We then pass a post office and some more government buildings. That one has been converted into a museum that has a lot of the historical facts of Belize, and another very old structure in the town. We finished our tour and it was time to jump on the shuttle to go back to the ship.